Well, hello. It's me, James Henry, and welcome to another week of sacred reading together. If you are not familiar with sacred reading, I will try to give the briefest update I possibly can. Sacred reading is predicated on what we believe to be the truth, that sacred texts can still speak to us today. They aren't just dead words, but the words can enliven something within our heart, and spirit can speak to us in those messages. Believing that means that we read a text often in short snippets and listen for what it might say to us, trusting that spirit can speak into our lives today. So, we have been reading the book of Ruth. We are in chapter 2. I am just doing verse 20 today. You can break it up any way you want to. If you do sacred reading on your own, I suggest to you short snippets. Read them 3 times aloud to yourself so that you can hear them. It engages the whole body, not just the eyes. Oftentimes we read with just our eyes. But I encourage you to read aloud. You'll hear the echoes of the sounds. Maybe the sounds themselves might speak to you. Maybe the alliteration. Something in the words will speak to you. Some truth that you need to hear, whether it's a word of encouragement, a word of accountability, just a word and a reminder of who you are, whose you are, where you come from. All of those kinds of things, depending upon what you may need this day. You could read the same verse every day for a week and hear something different each time. And part of that is that Spirit speaks into us based on what we need in the moment. And we hear that echo based on that. So, Ruth chapter 2, verse 20 is what we'll be reading today. Bring yourself into the moment, if you will, before I read. Now, I'm only going to read it aloud once, and then I'll pause. You can turn away if you want, or you can wait and hear my reflection on the text if you wish, whatever stood out to me as I read it. So let's listen together for Spirit to speak into our lives from the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 20. Naomi said, "May he receive blessings from I am, who has not stopped showing tender love to both the living and the dead." This Boaz, Naomi continued, is a close relative of ours. He is our Redeemer trustee. Usually when we do sacred reading together, I remember to give you sort of a summary of what we've already read, but I missed that window. So we will dive in where we are, knowing as we do that Naomi and Ruth have both, Naomi is the mother-in-law, Ruth the daughter-in-law, both have lost their husbands and have come back to Bethlehem without anyone to provide for them. So the law allows for them to glean in the fields, and Ruth has found a place to glean in the fields of Boaz. And Boaz has been particularly protective of her and instructed everyone to sort of watch out for her, let a little extra grain drop so when she gleans, she'll have enough to eat, and she'll take it home and she feeds both herself and her mother-in-law. That kind of bond and connectedness has held them together thus far. And so it is that Ruth has gone out to glean so that she can provide for both of them. And when Naomi hears that it is Boaz for whom where Ruth is gleaning, She finds comfort in that for apparently several reasons, but one is that she sees in Boaz what I hear an echo of is that he honors, when she says the living and the dead, he's looking out for Ruth and Naomi by allowing them to glean, but he's also honoring the memory of Elimelech, uh, who we are told in this very short passage would have been one of Boaz's um, kinsmen. And so that kind of honoring of what has come before, of looking out for one another, I see that wonderful balance of bringing this law, this tradition forward of looking out for those who can't look out for themselves, also balanced with a sense that there are two people here, and Boaz makes sure that they will not go hungry. Two people we now know as Ruth and Naomi. I wonder how well we are at honoring what we have received. The promise of looking out for one another, the call to look out for one another. For me, as a follower in the path of Jesus, it is to love the Lord God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love my neighbor as myself, and to wonder how I'm doing at that. How am I doing? Naomi immediately recognizes that Boaz is honoring these covenants that have long held, but the outcome of that honoring is that she and Ruth are taken care of, provided for. And I wonder how well we are looking out for each other, taking care of one another. It's just a reminder to me that I need to be, no matter whether I find myself in the place of Boaz where I can look out for others, or I find myself in a place of need, as Naomi and Ruth did in this story, I can only hope that whichever place I find myself in, that the nature of our common humanity will hold, that the call of Spirit to love our neighbors, all our neighbors, as ourselves, will hold true for me and will empower me to live more fully. I appreciate this reminder today. It's very easy to get caught up chasing after my own interest and dreams and concerns. And here I'm reminded to look out for others, those who I might have the opportunity to help, but also to trust in the kindness of the stranger, who turns out to not be such a stranger after all, according to Naomi. Those are my thoughts about the text today. I wish you all the best in your reflections if you do sacred reading on your own. Remember always, you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift you already are. Until the next time we do sacred reading together, I wish you all the best.